big breaking news coming in. The Supreme Court has ruled on Khap Panchayats and has ruled that the Khap Panchayat or any other assembly will be restricted from interfering in a marriage until a legislation comes into place. So the Supreme Court has very categorically ruled against Khap Panchayats interfering in marriages, saying that they will have no right to interfere. They've restrained them from having any role whatsoever or having any say in marriages, saying that a legislation must come into place if Khap Panchayats or any other assembly can really have any role to play in marital matters. So this is a big decision that's come to light. The top court taking a decision against Khap Panchayats, saying that Khap Panchayats or any other assembly cannot interfere in a marriage. They have said that for a Khap Panchayat to have any sort of role in marital decisions or in marriages at all, there must be some sort of legislation that comes into place. So this is a big decision that's been taken by the Supreme Court, taking a clear stand against Khap Panchayats, which have been termed very regressive in the recent past, and keeping in mind the number of incidents of honor killing and violence that's come to light. The Supreme Court has taken a stand saying that a Khap Panchayat cannot interfere in the marriage between two adults. This is a big historic verdict from the Supreme Court, ruling completely against honor killing decisions and the likes by Khap Panchayats, and making it clear that they cannot interfere in a decision of marriage between two consenting adults, that they cannot go ahead and have any role in marital decisions until some sort of a legislation is brought into place. Our legal editor Rhythm is joining us with more details. Rhythm, this is a big verdict that's come from the top court. Rhythm, if you're with us, give us details of what the Supreme Court has said in this order. It's ruled clearly against Khap Panchayats. All right, we'll go across to her in just a bit to get details of really what the Supreme Court has said in this particular judgment. But this is a historic verdict that's come from the Supreme Court, very categorically the Apex Court stating that Khap Panchayat has no role to interfere in marriages. It's a clear stand against the spate of honor killings that are being witnessed in several states as well. And the Supreme Court has ruled now against Khap Panchayats. Let's go back to Rhythm Anand Bharadwaj for the latest on this. And Rhythm, it's over to you. All right, we seem to be having a bit of a problem. Rhythm, if you're with us, give us details of what really the Supreme Court judgment says.
Yes. Well, the Supreme Court today has clearly given out a judgment that has given out very clearly that Khap Panchayats are illegal as much as they are trying to give out an authoritative ruling against legal marriages. The Supreme Court today has very clearly stated that we are going to give out, they've given out a huge blow to Khap Panchayats, and any person, any sort of institution that is trying to come out and give out a legislation when adult marriages are concerned. Today, in an authoritative judgment, a landmark judgment, the top court of the country has said when it comes to these type of rulings, the Khap Panchayat is illegal. Till a legislation comes, the Khap Panchayat cannot go and state adults cannot get married. It's the first time ever now the top court takes action against Khap Panchayats. Honor killings must stop. The top court has given out an authoritative judgment restraining the Khap Panchayats and saying they cannot interfere into marriages until a legislation comes into place. It is one of the first times ever that we are seeing the top court taking such stringent action against the kangaroo courts that have been formed by the Khap Panchayats.
And no doubt the need of the hour as well. Rhythm, Saira Shah Halim, activist, joining us on this broadcast. Ms. Halim, your first reaction to this particular development. The Supreme Court, in a historic mandate, in a historic verdict, has said very categorically that Khap Panchayats have no right to interfere in a marriage.
No, absolutely, because now they are operating like kangaroo courts, where, pre-medieval, verdicts are being meted out, which have no sanction under the Indian Constitution. So I think this is a welcome step. It's time that all the honor killings that are taking place needs to be stalled with immediate effect. And I feel this ruling is really a landmark step ahead, and we must welcome it. And all these draconian practices of honor killings need to be shut with the immediate effect.
And this is long overdue, considering the number of incidents, the spate of honor killings that we've witnessed in some parts of the country, Saira.
You know, it doesn't happen in civil society, nor does it happen in any progressive country. And especially that India is making giant leaps towards progress. It just does not fit in. So I think it's been long due, and it's about time we actually put it on its course.
Yes, all right. Saira Shah Aleem, thank you for speaking to us. I want to go back to Ridhim Anand Bharadwaj as well for the latest from the Supreme Court. Ridhim, this is a historic verdict that's coming from the Supreme Court. And as I was saying earlier, it really is the need of the hour, considering the number of honor killings that we've witnessed, considering that the Khap Panchayat seemed to have almost gained this power where they believed that they could step in and take a decision on the part of two consenting adults.
Absolutely. Let's tell out what the observation of the top court today is. It says any Khap assembly intending to scuttle marriages of two consenting adults is illegal. This is coming in the background of kangaroo courts that have said two things, and these are the most shocking things. One kangaroo court, one Khap Panchayat had said that there are actual adult marriages happening because of the chow mein that are happening in the country, that they're consuming too much chow mein, and that's the reason why there are people having intercaste marriages. This is the kind of ridiculous statements coming in from leaders of Khap Panchayats. But quickly, to get a sense of what happened inside that jam-packed courtroom, Court 1, where this authoritative judgment has been given out, let's quickly go across to our legal correspondent Nalini Sharma, who was inside the courtroom. Nalini, take us through what happened inside the courtroom.
Well, Ridhim, throughout the hearing of this particular case, the Supreme Court has time and again pulled up the Khap Panchayat for behaving the way they do. And today, a big verdict coming on from the Supreme Court, where they've clearly stated that Khap Panchayat has been declared illegal by the three judgments. They've clearly stated that unless there is a legislation in place, the Khap Panchayat or any other assembly for that matter cannot interfere in a marriage, even if it's interfaith, between two consenting adults. That's a clear direction coming in from the Supreme Court. Moreover, they've also gone one step further and they've laid down preventive measures for what happens if the Khap Panchayat still, despite the Supreme Court order, actually goes ahead and tries to interfere in the marriage between two consenting adults. So there's a huge order coming in from the Supreme Court's three-judge bench today. They've clearly laid down that any action being taken by an illegal assembly such as the Khap Panchayat, when it comes to the marriage of two consenting adults, will be absolutely illegal. It will be in violation of not only the criminal law but also the constitution of the country.
In fact, also directions will be given to the state and the centre to get legal action to be taken here. But the big news that's coming in, any such direction that's being taken by the Khap Panchayat now will be illegal. Since many times we've seen honour killings happening in the name of caste and the name of honour, but now these honour killings, it's time in independent India, in modern India, it's time for this to stop. It's been a part of Republic's campaign to ensure that honour killings do not happen. Today, the top court in an authoritative judgment says Khap Panchayats can no longer continue with this. It's illegal for them to continue with this. They've said any attempts by the Khap Panchayats to try and do this is going to be scuttled now. Remember Khap Panchayats over the years, we remembered in 2012 how they stated that intercaste marriages were happening because people are consuming chow mein. At another time, they said it's common because there are rapes happening, because there are less women out there. Several ridiculous and absurd statements by Khap Panchayats. It's time they are stopped. The top court putting an end to it.
Yes, and Ridhim, as you pointed out, in this kind of a scenario, considering that we have a competent judiciary, it's clear that there is no place whatsoever for these Khap Panchayats and their regressive judgments, their regressive decisions per se. But also, if you look at what the Supreme Court has said in its judgment, and if you could also speak to Nalini on this, they've used very strong words as well. They've said very categorically that this is illegal. They've also issued guidelines till a legislation comes to place.
Absolutely. And in fact, let me ask Nalini that. Nalini, what has the court said when it comes to having guidelines? What have they said when it comes to the central government taking instructions? What is the central government now going to do?
Well, basically what they've come out and stated is that it's not just the Khap Panchayat but any illegal assembly that should not be allowed to interfere into the marriage of two consenting adults. And if they still continue to do so despite the Supreme Court order, there have been preventive and remedial measures that have been laid down by this three-judge bench of the Supreme Court on exactly what the action can the government take against such particular panchayat or assembly if they actually continue to do so and violate somebody's right to actually get married to another person from another religion. The details of what these guidelines and what these measures actually are weren't delved into by the Chief Justice. Of course, that's going to come out in the judgment that is going for the Supreme Court that is going to be uploaded soon. But despite that, the Supreme Court's made it absolutely clear that it is absolutely illegal when it comes to interference of any of these organizations within the marriage of two consenting adults. The government needs to take care of that, and moreover, remedial measures have been laid down by this three-judge bench.
All right, Ridhim and Nalini, thanks for joining us with those details. Let's go across to Zeenat Shaukat Ali. She's also joining us for her reaction on this bit of breaking news. And Ms. Shaukat Ali, your reaction to this? The Supreme Court very categorically saying that it's illegal for Khap Panchayats to function, that they cannot go ahead and infringe on any marriage or take any decision on marriages between two consenting adults.
I think I have to applaud the judgment, and it's a very welcome judgment. No adult should interfere in the marriage or in the decision-making process of, two young people who fall in love and want to get married. I think it is a very welcome process. And this kind of interference and hurting and harming people on the basis of caste, class, religion or whatsoever is a very, medieval kind of a thinking. And the Supreme Court is very, very right in saying that until any further judgment on this matter comes out, nobody should interfere, if two consenting adults wish to live with each other and get married.
And this was the need of the hour as well, considering that these regressive kangaroo courts have even led to so many honor killings in the past in some parts of the country. Zeenat Shaukat Ali, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks to Ridhim and Nalini for getting us the latest on the story. A historic verdict that's coming from the Supreme Court.